Uh, my name. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good afternoon. Myself, Raghavendra Raghunath. I'm the HCM Analytics Product Manager at Oracle. My main focus is HCM OTBI. So some of you who are active on Customer Connect or who follow my posts on my replies on Customer Connect, maybe you are familiar with me. And with this session, I would like to hope that the community, OTBI community, grows with more active participants on Customer Connect, and also helps you improve your report building skills using OTBI, more on self-service. So with that, I'll start my today's workshop. Most of the session today is, I would like to run actual practical examples. Very little of presentation through slides and more of actual report building. Okay, so with that, I'll start my introduction with a deck actually. Kishore, can you confirm you see my screen?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, this is my introduction. I go by, my first name is Raghavendra. I go by Raghu in all my communication on Customer Connect and with customers generally. And this is the safe harbor statement. So today, I've put out the actual agenda for today's session. And if possible, I would like to try and cover a little more than what I've listed here. But, for sure, we are covering all of them today. And before I jump into the actual OTBI tool to build reports and to navigate through the reporting catalog, I would just like to give you a perspective of the reporting tools that are available for customers out of the box using, for cloud HCM cloud customers. OTBI is one, Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence. BIP is Business Intelligence Publisher. So what are these? I'll talk about in the next slide. So out here, I'm just doing a comparison between OTBI and BI Publisher as reporting tools. So both of them are free for HCM Cloud customers. You have subscription for HCM Cloud, you get OTBI and BI Publisher together. And any updates that happens to OTBI, any new subject area that gets added, any new functionality that gets added, everything is available out of the box. Customers don't have to pay anything additional for OTBI as such, including any catalog that we build and ship. It's available for free. BI Publisher is of course, as I said, is again free. And with OTBI we have maximum coverage. BI Publisher is complete because you could create reports using your actual SQLs, hitting the database. You could write the SQL queries, accessing the database tables. So that's how it's complete. But OTBI, we have a good coverage across all modules. Data security in OTBI, you don't have to do anything. It inherits the same data security as a Fusion application. BI Publisher, yes, if you use secured views, it is secured, else it is not secured. So it's generally not as advisable for customers to use BI Publisher. For example, you cannot set, if you build a salary report using BI Publisher, any user accessing that report will be able to see everybody's salary. So generally it's not advisable. And both of them are real-time data. And heterogeneous, when I say heterogeneous, what I mean here is in OTBI, you cannot get data from any other external source. BI Publisher, you could bring in data through, like spreadsheets. You can bring in your data from other sources into the BI Publisher using spreadsheets. So that's what I call it as heterogeneous. Embed in HCM application, yes, both of them can be done. And, yeah, so translation, yes, OTBI has got translation across, it's multilingual basically. And same with BI Publisher when you use translation tables. Upgrade safe, yes, both of them are like, this is all the out of the box catalog, all the out of the box content that we ship is available for customers in every new release. And anything that you would have done, any custom activity that you would have done and saved in your custom folders would still remain. You don't have to redo any of those things. So this is one last slide, and just to give you a highlight of what skills you need and some of the limitations, etc. So the limitation in OTBI today is like you cannot in a report at a time the maximum number of rows is around 75K, and yeah. So and also if you have to report on basically manager hierarchy. When I say manager hierarchy, like you log in as a line manager and you would like to report on multiple levels of your reports, directs and indirects. OTBI is one of the easiest way to do that. You just don't have to do anything. It's all, the dimensions are all pre-built. So you could just use that and say you could build a headcount report using a dimensional, manager hierarchy, and drill down to multiple levels. And you could report on flex fields, language translation. So all these things are out of the box in OTBI. PA publisher, yes, like as I said, you need SQL skills. And if you have to do any formatted reports, like you need to send out anything related to compliance, or for example anything which has to be regulatory reports, which has to be pre-built text on it, and with columns specific to those, then Oracle suggests to use BI publisher, not otherwise. And extracts is like of course in this session we are talking about only OTBI. BI publisher and HCM extract is only I'm introducing as reporting tools. HCM extract is basically to extract data. It's not for any analytics around it. It's basically you have the VOs and you could extract data off it. Okay, as I said, this is the Oracle recommendation. We strongly recommend to use OTBI for your reporting purposes. And OTBI is not an extract tool. We wouldn't suggest that you pull up a report which can render 1 million records and then try to export it. It's not recommended for that. So generally we recommend that you build a report with certain filters which reduces the number of rows, and then you could do your export, etc. So for extraction, as I said, HCM extract is the tool, reporting tool. Okay, so with that, I'm turning over to my application. I would like to introduce you starting from the HCM OTBI home page. Okay. Kishore, can you confirm you see my application screen?
Yeah, very much, Raghu. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm sure all of you are familiar with this home page. When I log into this when I log into OTBI, I generally come into this home page or into the catalog page, or even if you navigate from the Fusion application, you come and land in this page. So what I do here, I'll start with introduction to OTBI catalog, how it is arranged, and then move on to subject areas and then into report building. So all your catalog, all the seeded catalog and all the custom folders are all available in this menu item called catalog. So from the home page, when you go to catalog, so you have everything available under shared folders. So for the purpose for this session, I'm sticking to just the HCM part of it. So all the Oracle shipped out of the box content is available under shared folders, human capital management. And by default, this folder is secured by a couple of roles. Okay, I can just show you that. Okay. So by default, these folders are secured by BI consumer role, BI administrator, and human capital management reporting duty. So any user having this BI consumer role will be having access to this folder. Okay, but I need to mention very specifically, this folder is this is a seeded folder. Shared folders, human capital management is a seeded folder and is not this cannot be modified. None of the items, none of the catalog items, none of the folders, none of the permissions can be modified by customers on their own, because this is like this is every time there is an upgrade, this is the folder that gets appended, overwritten sometimes with new content, etc. So you don't, this is you don't have, you cannot change the permissions or you cannot change anything within this folder. So what we would recommend is like, you could have a similar structure under custom. So shared folders, custom, I can create a folder called human capital management, for example, and I can create all my custom content under this folder. This, you could change permissions, you could add new content, all those things. For now, let me go ahead with the seeded folder. So human capital management. This has, when I drill down further, I have folders respective to various modules within HCM. And on further drill down, I can go to the actual content, for example. So I could go, all my out of the box OTBI reports are available under transaction analysis samples under each of these folders. So these are the various dashboards and reports available. And these are the KPIs. Okay. And yeah, so there is nothing right now there, but I think I have. So some of these could be hidden, for example. So I could hide some of these catalogs. So when I say hide, it doesn't show up. I need to check this checkbox, show hidden items, to display them. Okay. And then I move on to the actual. These are various dashboards available, and also there are some, reports that are used under the dashboards available here. These are all out of the box reports. So I strongly suggest that, you should explore each of them to understand what this provides. And there are close to, I think, about 300 reports and dashboards available in HCM out of the box. This is apart from whatever is available on Customer Connect. So within OTBI, you have all this catalog available for your usage. And what I would suggest to a lot of customers is, like, if they have, say, for example, they want to do some reporting around assignment details, and you could start with this report, and anything that you would want to add to this report, you could add it and save it in the custom folder. Okay. And custom folders, as I said, are not, during upgrades are not overwritten. They're always available. Whatever custom content you have will all be available there. Okay. So this was about the foldering structure. Basically you have shared folders, human capital management, and subfolders pertaining to individual modules like compensation, workforce management, time and labor, recruiting, etc. And within that, you have folders which stores the OTBI reports and dashboards. Okay. That's called transaction analysis samples. And now, the next logical question that, all of you would have is like, how do I identify which subject area to use to build my particular reporting requirement? So for example, it could be like, I would want to build a report based on all the worker assignments or all their birthdays, or probably I would want to build a report depicting, like, how my workers are faring with respect to performance appraisal cycle, like, how many of them have created, how many of them have, yet to start, how many of them have completed, etc. Or similarly with goals, or for example, salaries, like, how many workers have had a raise during the current year. All these things are common questions that, you might encounter, business questions that you might encounter. So I would strongly suggest again, so you should, whenever in doubt, please navigate to this OTBI help. Okay. So this has the list of subject areas that are shipped out of the box. Of course, you have all the pillars in the cloud application available here, but here, I would go to HCM subject areas. There are, as of 21C, there are close to 100 subject areas, and beyond 21C, we have about 103 subject areas between 21D and 22A. So you have a list of subject areas available here. It's in the alphabetical order. So anything around benefits, compensation, you just have to go through this list to understand what are the subject areas that are available for reporting and what each of them does. Okay. So for example, like, I would want to report on payroll element entries. The name is self-explanatory generally. So I would click on it. It gives a brief description of, what the subject area is capable of doing, what business questions this subject area is able to answer, what job roles are required, what duty roles are required to access this subject area. And, within the HCM cloud application, what is the navigation, for me to get the data, that's what is available. Of course, for reporting purposes, this might not be relevant. Yeah, so this job role, duty role is relevant, and for now I'll ignore time reporting and transactional grain because this is a beginner session. I don't want to confuse you with what is a transactional grain and time reporting, etc. So these are the primary requirements, like the description of the subject area, the business questions that it can answer. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list of business questions. Some of the business questions that we have added here, the important ones, and these are the most important ones. It's a duty role and the job role. So it could be anything for that matter. It could be anything related to workforce. Generally, it's all prefixed with the module name. For example, if you're a learning customer, we have a couple of subject areas on learning, workforce learning, and performance. It could be like, I have a few subject areas around performance. Let me share that. So workforce performance is all about performance appraisals, check-ins, performance ratings, etc. And yeah, profiles is one other. So succession, if you're a succession customer, like we have multiple subject areas around succession, talent pools, talent review meetings, etc. So all these modules are, each of the HCM modules have multiple subject areas under them, and all of them would be arranged together with a common prefix. Okay, so this is where I would come, whenever I have questions around what is the subject area that I need to use. For example, you might have a question on, I have a list of candidates across all my succession plans. How do I report on them? So I would read through these descriptions to understand, like, which subject area would help me get that information. Okay. So yeah, so this is a good starting point for all of you to understand which subject area to use. So this, as I said, you would go from the Oracle OTBI homepage and OTBI help. Okay. So with this, I'm getting on to actual report building activity now. Whenever you want to create a new analysis, generally reports in OTBI, the term we use is called analysis. So in most of my conversation, I would call it as analysis. Analysis and reporting are actually interchangeable terms, but the actual technical term for a report in OTBI is analysis. So I'll stick to this term called analysis. So if I have to build a new analysis, I go to new analysis. See, let me start with a simple example of, I would want to build a report of the number of, or maybe the headcount of workers in my organization by various business units. So one other, this is more of a soft skill that I would want to talk about here. So if you want to, this has got, as I said, about 100 subject areas. For you to scroll through each of them could be a time-consuming activity. I would suggest, like, if you have zeroed in on the subject area that you want to build a report, just do a browser search here. When you say new analysis, I click on new analysis and say, for example, if I have to do find all the succession subject areas, I'll do a browser search. I'll do a Control F and I'll say succession. Okay, so the moment I do that, it takes me there. Okay, so similarly, if I have to build a report on, say, for example, performance or learning, I'll say learning. Okay, so it takes me to that learning. Okay, so this is, of course, this comes with a little practice, but instead of scrolling through hundreds of subject areas, you could just do this way. And this exercise, I would want to build a report on headcount by business unit. For example, the subject area that I would want to use is assignment real time. Okay, so if you come to this workforce management assignment real time, that subject area would tell me, what data is available in that subject area. Okay, of course, as I said, you can look up in this to understand what data is available through that. So for now, I'll build a analysis to get you all the. So what I'll do, okay, so I'll just talk about this subject areas as well. The subject area as far as the technical arrangement of subject areas. See, each subject area generally in OTBI has got one fact folder and all other all others are dimensions basically. So what's a fact folder? Fact folder is the one which houses your metrics. So metrics is the actual measurable units basically, and these and all the dimensions basically are the attributes or the data points based on which you can slice and dice your metrics. Okay, so you could arrange this subject area by alphabetical order. I can change this. It becomes from A to B, alphabetical order. Or when I say sort in saved order, this is by default what is stored in the subject area. This is the arrangement. So whenever you go to any subject area and say sort in saved order, generally the last folder in the subject area will be the fact folder. Okay, so this, if you see this, the icon next to a metric will be different from what you see in the dimensions. Okay, so that is how you notice. But the thumb rule is, what I would do is, if whenever I navigate to a subject area, if I have to understand what are the fact folders available in the subject area, I do a sort in saved order, and the last folder will be the fact folder. Okay, now I would like to understand the head count in my organization. So I just double click on it. I could double click or I could drag and drop. For me, it's easier to double click on each of them. It appears, and now I go to results. Okay, and it says the head count is I have 2310, 2831, sorry, 2831. And now, I would want to slice and dice this by various attributes or various dimensions. First, I will start with business unit name, for example, and I'll say results. So I'll just drag and drop this. Okay. And generally, you could click on this XYZ here and click on content paging, so that, if there are in multiple columns, you don't have to have that. You don't want to do horizontal scrolling. It will remove the scrolling and it will expand the screen. So this gives me the headcount by each of the business unit. And now I also want to see, I want to sort them based on the descending order of the headcount. The highest headcount should appear first, subsequently the next, etc. So I'll go to criteria. On the headcount, I'll say sort descending. Okay, of course, this one is there are a few business units without any headcount, for example, those are appearing here. So this is how it's sorted in the reverse order. If you want to remove any null values from your output, you just need to put a filter on it. I can go to headcount, I'll say filter, and I'll say is not null. Okay, so the moment I do that, it gives you only those business units that have the headcount. And now my next requirement is I can see there are maybe multiple 71 business units. I want to get my requirement is such that I want to get the top 10 business units or top 5 business units by headcount. So how do I do that? I go to filter, and I'll say is in top 10 or 5 or whatever. So when I say 5 or maybe 7, whatever, right? So I can just do that. I'll say top 10. So it gives me only those 10 business units in the descending order, the top 10. And now I want to see, I don't want to see, I'm in the process of merging my business units. For example, I want to look at the bottom 10 business units by headcount. So all I do is I go to this headcount filter. Instead of is in top 10, I'll say is in bottom 10. And I say results. So this gives me, of course, all these things are, it gives me more than 10 because, multiple business units have the same headcount. So it is giving me all those business units that are in the top 10, bottom 10. So now, I would want to create a graph out of this. Instead of, I don't want to show this to my management as a table. I want to create a graph. So what I do, I go here. This is where, this icon is the place where you can create multiple views. So I say a new view and I'll say graph, and I can choose a graph. I'll say, give me a bar graph. Okay. So I'll say vertical, horizontal, whatever, I could do that. So the moment I do that, okay, the moment I do that, the graph based on whatever data you have in the table is available here. And now, of course, I could place it side by side. I'll just drag and drop it here. Okay, this appears, the table and my graphs are side by side. So this gives me, like, when I hover over, this gives me the business unit name and the head count against each of them. Okay, so this is a simple report wherein we have said, get me the head count, or maybe the top 10 head count or bottom 10 head count by business unit. And we have created a graph out of it. Okay, so this is one example. Now I would want to understand. So let me take off, removing this, clicking, you can remove one column at a time by saying delete, or you could also do this, like, and if you do this one, the filters, all the filters are removed and all the criteria is removed. Now I would want to understand in my organization, what is the split between the headcount split between genders, basically. So it could be male, female, and the ones that have not disclosed their gender. I would want to have a split. I would want to show them through a graph, for example. So what I'll do, again, I'll come to this. I'll pull up, say, for example, the gender. Any column that you would want to know, you could do a search here. Okay, you could say gender and hit the search. It will retrieve all the columns that have gender as its name. So since right now I know the folder where it is arranged, I'll go to it. I'll go to the worker folder. I'll go to, I'll look for the column called gender. Maybe in these cases, what we do, we can arrange it based on the sorting order. Ascending order, alphabetical order. So I go to the worker folder and I go to G now. So, or I think it's called person gender, maybe. Yeah, person gender. Okay. And now I'll do the head count of by gender.
Yeah, quick question, Raghu. Kindly show us, like, once you create this report along with the graph, how to save it and then retrieve it back. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me recreate it. I don't know. It took some time. Okay. So as I said, I go to the worker folder. I pull up the column. Yeah. So if you look at this one, there are multiple categories: male, female, non-binary, not specified, and some of them are blank. So what I could do, I could use a graph again. So you have multiple graphs. You could choose whichever is relevant. If you say best visualization, it also gives you a corresponding one based on the data. So what I would want to do, maybe this time I would want to say, I would want to look at only maybe, again, I can filter out the ones that are not. I would want to say, for example, I would want to have a split between male and female for now. I could put a filter on it. I'll just say I can go to criteria. I'll put a filter on gender, and I'll say female and male. Okay, these are the only two things I'm taking it for now, for example. Okay, and now I'll create a report of it. I can show it through a pie chart. Okay. So if you look at this one, so this is like, 50, you didn't have to do anything about the percentages, etc. If you look at this one, all I have got is the number. So there are 1563 male workers and 1187 female workers. The percentage is available, the OTBI computes it for you based on that's the virtue of the pie chart. Based on the data, based on the value of the data, it also gives you a percentage. So the split is like 56% versus 43%. If you want to call it out, if you want to have it, all you need to do is you need to click on this XYZ of this graph. Go to tiles and labels, for example, titles and labels, markers, and you say always, for example, show the data always. So when you say that, it basically gives you the percentage. You could show only percentage or only the number. If you don't explicitly specify it, on hover over, you will be able to see both. Okay, this I'm seeing the percentage. I can change it to show me, say for example, actual value, and it gives me the actual value. So now what I'll do, of course, and I can have this table also below it. Now I could save this. So as I said, generally it's recommended to save under the custom folder. So let me try saving it under shared folders, human capital management. As you see here, I'm in shared folders, human capital management. I'll say OTBI workshop analysis 01, and I try to save. Let's see what happens if I try to save here. As I said, I'm in shared folders, human capital management. Okay, so let's see if I'm able to save it or not. Okay, the moment I say that, it gives me a message that you cannot save it in the shared folders, human capital management. Instead, you should always save it under shared custom folder. Okay, so what I do, I'll have to save it again. I'll have to go to shared custom, and then I'll go to human capital management. I could create a new folder. For example, I'll say OTBI workshop. November. I have a folder like this. Okay, and I'll give some name. Description is not mandatory. The name is mandatory. And whatever name you give generally appears as the title here. Okay, and now I'm gonna navigate back. Now if I have to reopen that same analysis that I built, I go to catalog, or it's also available. All the recently built ones are recently opened ones are also available in the home page here. If you look at this one, I can also go to catalog. So I'm here. Maybe I'll show the path again. I go to shared folders, custom, human capital management, OTBI workshop 11th November. I open it and it's available for you to see that. Okay. So these are two
Raghu,
of the.
thanks for that. Quick question, Raghu. Can we have, in this case, you're showing the number, right, or the percentage? Can we do both? Can I have a number and percentage also?
Yeah, so that's available. As I said, if you don't specify it, right, I can show you that, as I said, if you don't specify it, say for example, data markers, see this one is a different category. I'll show you what it does. Okay. So here, I can say instead of legend, I don't have to say legend this one. But however, if you are calling it out, you can show only one of them. So now what I'll say on rollover. Okay, only then. Okay, only when you do that, that's when I can see both, not otherwise. By default, it's, when you hover over, you can see that. But if you call it out explicitly, if you do that as a setting, you can do it as a number or a percentage, not both. Okay.
One basic question, Raghu. I think you straight away gone into the OTBA area. Can you show from the application how to come to this navigation, Raghu?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay, I could do that as well. Okay, maybe now I'm. So I'm in release 21C currently. So I go to Navigator, Tools, or I could say, for example, I'll say New Analysis. I'll say Build a Report, My Reporting, I'll say Build a Report, for example. Okay, the moment I say that, it could be there will be a menu item called Report and Analytics, or this My Reports and Build a Report. So when I come here, basically both of them will bring me to this Report and Analytics in the application. Out here, what I need to do, I can actually create a report here. For example, analysis. Basically, when I say analysis, OTBI analysis, this opens the BI Composer. This is one other tool that is embedded within the Fusion application itself. Okay, but we are not I'm not covering this BI Composer. We are doing only OTBI for now. So when I'm in this screen, I have to click on this Browse Catalog. The moment I do that, it opens a new screen. This is where it brings me to this OTBI page, home page. Okay, so the navigation is as I showed you. So it's I could go to generally it should be available under Tools, Reports and Analytics, or as I said, My Reporting. I'll say Build a Report, and then I click on Browse Catalog. It will bring me there. Okay, is that clear? Okay, so click on Browse Catalog. It opens the OTBI catalog. Basically, all the reports that are built in OTBI are all available under this one in this catalog area. Okay. Yeah. So this one, these were some of the quick examples that I would wanted to show. Now, this brings me, generally to, I'll try and cover some of those analyses which are like, most sought after or most, customers would want to build. For example, there is a requirement, most customers want to have a report analysis which says, give me the data of, say, for example, all the phone numbers of a worker in an analysis. Okay, so for that, the phone numbers, for example, are in a subject area called person real time. So what data has in person, you can always go here. So I can say, so I can quickly look up. So if I look at the description of this person real-time subject area, it will give me this subject area is used to report on personal information of the worker, like phone numbers, addresses, ethnicity, all those things. So that's what I could do here. Okay, so now I have come to this. I'll go to the subject area called person real-time. Ignore this. This is coming from a different pillar. This is from the higher education pillar. So this is not the one. Ours is workforce management person real time. So out here, I would want to see the workers and their phone numbers. Okay. Say, for example, I'll pull up the name, person name, not the person number. And there are various folders here, for example, the person phone, passport, national identifiers, religion, ethnicities, driver license. All these are corresponding to the workers' personal information are available here. Okay. And now what I'll do, I would want to see the phone numbers of the worker, the phone types, and this is a practical example that I've providing. I'm talking about here because I've seen various customers asking me for this on various forums. It could be in OTBI workshops. It's a live workshops that I've done in the past, and also some of these customer connect posts. Very simple analysis, but most commonly sought after. But there's a customers fall short of building this kind of an analysis in the way they want it to be. Okay, so I'll tell you what I mean. So I go to phone type. I pulled up the person name, phone type, and phone. See, when I say phone type, it could be home phone, work phone, or personal phone, all those, mobile phone, all those things. So it's a simple analysis that I'm building. Okay, so this one gives me, okay, now as I said, if you want to remove this scroll, like, instead of scrolling through, if you want to have everything available, like, without scrolling, you just have to say content paging. Okay. And now you see that, like, I could have some of these workers could have multiple phone types and multiple phone numbers. Okay, so maybe again here I can put a filter to show only those workers that have a phone number. So I'll say phone number is not null. So the moment I do that, it will give me only those records wherein the workers have actual phone numbers. And it could so happen that some of my workers could have multiple phones. Okay, and the customer requirement, this is what I wanted to share here. The customer requirement was not to see them as different rows, but to see them in the same row for each of the workers. See, for example, this person, Anderson, Lena Anderson and Stig Anderson, they have two numbers each, like home phone and work phone. The customers don't want to see them as two different rows. They want to see them in a single row. So how do I do that? So what I'll do, instead of table, I'll remove this view called table. I'll create a new view called pivot table. Okay, so as I said, new view, pivot table. Okay, so, and I edit this pivot. How to edit this pivot. I mean, again, here also you could do this XYZ, click on XYZ and say content paging, so that your scroll is removed. And now I'll edit this pivot, edit view. I mean, this is the view, edit view. Now I'll place, okay, did this come up? Okay, now when I edit, there are two sections available here. The top section is where the data is available. So I can actually, till I do any changes in the arrangement, I can actually disable this results output. So how do I do that? I mean, you don't have to do it, but I'm just showing you. You can just click on this and the results will be disabled, will not be available. So I'll just pull this up, for me to arrange. So I have the worker, phone type and phone here. Okay. And I'll just say aggregation rule. I'll just say min, max first. You just say anything, doesn't matter. You just say aggregation rule and say min. Okay. And now I put it back. I bring it back, display results, I'll say. And I'll say done. The moment I say that, all the phone types of all the workers are listed, and anybody having multiple phone numbers, their numbers will be listed in the same row. See, for example, this person has got two phones, both of them are listed in the same row. Okay. So as you scroll down, you could keep on, you could take you could export this also. For example, I can, you could save this, and how to export data is available through this one. I could export it to a PDF or an Excel, etc. So PowerPoint, etc. The data, and yeah.
Raghu, any quick demo of how to share this with their colleagues? Like, how do I share it with my manager, or how to make it accessible to other users?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. So let me share this first. So now a couple of things that I know you could do. So we have two analysis now. One is worker phones and one is about the head catalog called the head count by gender. Now I have both these available in this folder. Okay. Now you want to restrict this to only those workers. I mean, only those users that you would want to. You need to give privilege to only a few set of users. So you could do that this way. Okay. I go to more. I go to permissions. Okay. So out here, I'll remove everybody. This is, as I said, this is a custom folder. So you could do any manipulation here. So I'll remove everything here. Say, for example, my manager, I have logged in as Richard. Say I want to give to managers above me, for example, me and my managers above, for example. I just choose somebody like, so I'll say users, okay. So I just give access to this particular, this, assuming that, this is my manager, full control, or maybe I can also specify read only. Full control is like in all the access. I can say they can probably open it, okay, or maybe traverse it. Traverse is like, read through, drill down, etc. So I'll just say, I'll give full control to my manager, okay. And now I also, let me show you this. Okay. So I could also say this is like the other way of doing it. Like, if somebody like, Curtis, who's got access to all the folders, he's an admin user, has got access to all the folders, all the reports, I could also specify no access to that person. Okay. So yeah, maybe, yeah, I think it's, yeah, let me, but anyways, for now, let's concentrate on, how do you give access to? So I could give access to individual users. I could also give it to individual roles, for example, right? For example, I want all the users that are having access to, say, for example, benefits data. Benefits manager should be able to see this data. Okay. So I'll search for benefits. Okay. So all the benefits, users with benefits manager access, I'll give full control. Okay. So what this means is like, Michelle and all the users with benefits manager privilege will be able to view this report. Okay. So this is how you provide access. I mean, this is like, I could set it by role, or I could set it by individual users as well. Okay. I hope this was clear.
Yeah, absolutely, Raghu.
Yeah, this is how you share the catalog. And sometimes it so happens, say, suppose like, you don't want to give access to anybody other than yourself, or maybe you are part of the report building team, and you are testing it out by building, and you want some of your business users to test it out in their environment. For example, like, you are doing all the work in a test pod, but your business users want to test it on the production pod. What you do is like, you could also archive and email them, or you could archive and send it to them, which they can unarchive and run. Okay. So what it means, I'll show you here. Okay. So for example, this is the report, headcount by gender. Okay. So I have an option called archive. Okay. So when I say archive, it creates it's like a zip file basically. Okay. So it saves into my local folder. Now I would want to import this. Say, for example, I could email this. Okay, this catalog. This is how it appears. Okay, so this is how the headcount by gender dot catalog. This is the archived file. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I'm. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure. I think I'm not shared this, but anyways, I could archive this. Now what I'll do, I'll go to my folders. Assume that my folders is in a different instance. So I have an option called unarchive. Okay. So I'll browse for that archived file. Okay. So I have this is the archived file, headcount by gender.catalog. So I'll say open. So when I have archived and unarchived to a different folder, the moment I do that, it will be available. So this is how easy it is to share the reports over emails, or for example through FTP, etc. I mean, I don't know, not by default FTP. I'm talking about, if you have a mechanism to share reports within your network, this is how you could do it. You could archive it and send it over, and they could unarchive and run it. Okay, so this is, I'm running it through my folders basically. Okay, So these were some of the simplest examples that most customers would be interested in. Understanding their headcount by gender, arranging the phone numbers as a single row rather than as multiple rows. And now let's look at an example wherein I would want to see the trend of trending report. So what's a trending report? So trending report is one wherein you want to see the data by years or by months or by quarters, etc. Okay, I'll have two examples for that. One related to headcount and the other related to the performance documents. I'll start with the performance documents for now. So again, which subject area to use? I'll always go here. I'll look for performance. I'll search for performance and I'll see what subject area within performance will give me the data. So I go to new analysis. Again, I do a control F and I'll say performance. Okay, or maybe I'll say workforce performance. So there are various subject areas within this. So there is the subject area called performance document status real time. So this is all about, if a manager, if a HR manager wants to understand how the workers are creating performance documents by year on year or by every review period, this is the subject area that they would want to go. And what they would do is like, I could pull up the time dimension. I'll say year, calendar year. Okay. And as I said, maybe the easiest way to do is like, I'll say sort in saved order. So the metric folder or the fact folder will always be at the end. So this is the fact folder. This gives me the performance documents completed, in progress, all those things. So, but for now, what I'll do, I'll just look at number of performance documents created. Okay, this gives me that performance documents created. And I would like to filter it by last 5 years, for example. So I can choose I'll say between this and this. Okay. So now this report should give me all the performance documents created in my organization across last 5 or 6 years. So one thing that all of you should remember here is OTBI is real-time reporting, and analytics is like on top of real-time data. It's like so when I say that if you enter a record in performance module now, if I go and create a performance document right now in the application and come to OTBI for reporting, that record will be available for reporting. There is not even a lag by a minute or so. Like the moment it saves in the database, it should be available for reporting in this reporting subject area. So there is no lag as such, and analytics on top of it sometimes could be because since it hits the real-time data, since it hits the live database, there could be a lag in the running of the report sometimes, but the data is all real-time. Let me recreate it sometimes. Performance documents by year, and I'll say you can search here. So this again, I think I didn't mention this, and I could select it here. I can scroll down and select it, or maybe I could also do a search here and search for between, say, for example, 2016 to 2020, for example, 2021. And I'll move all of them here.
Well, it's doing a search. Raghu, quick question here. What is the difference between a report and analytics?
Yeah, analysis and report, right? So
Yeah.
see, as I said at the beginning, generally OTBI, I can actually show you that. Okay, all the OTBI analysis, all the OTBI catalog, we call it as analysis. All the reports built using OTBI is called analysis. So if you can go to this more and say properties, it says it's an analysis. Type is an analysis. Okay, so OTBI terminology for report is analysis. However, if you can go to a BI publisher report, for example, yeah, so this is one of the BI publisher report. If I go to BI publisher and say properties, it should say report. Okay, so all the BIP reports, we call it as report. All the OTBI reports, we call it as analysis. So this is this is our way of differentiating what is a report and what is an analysis. Okay, I don't know why this generally shouldn't take this much time. A simple report with year and performance documents. Probably I'll reduce the, let me.
Well, this is searching. I see a lot of questions like, either in the current context, which Raghu is explaining, or something is expected in the next session. So I'm not answering those questions. Please hold on. It's not for a reason. Either Raghu will cover it in today's session or in the coming session, or something is on very advanced level, which we do not want to bring it up in this session and then confuse everyone. So we have certain Raghu has a plan to conduct the session. So just go with the flow. If it is not answered, we will see how to manage it, or otherwise there are various forums for you to find out those answers, like customer connect. Because for example, I see people asking, how do I create report with using area of responsibility? These are all very standard questions which you can find it out in customer connect. If in case Raghu has a plan, he will cover it. Otherwise you can search it out. Okay, I think Raghu, we have to shift gears, right? Something is stuck. Do you want to go without the filter, Raghu, in this case? Hello? Raghu, you there? Hello? Arun, can you hear me?
Sure, I can.
Yeah, I think Raghu, we lost Raghu.
Probably Raghu dropped.
Just hold on. Huh? You should be joining any moment. High level, yeah, we were planning to cover the drill down reports. Yeah, it's definitely there. Descriptive flux field, yes. You can report it on the descriptive flux field as well. It's possible. Multiple subject area reports using multiple subject area. Yes, we planned it for session 2, which is going to happen on 25th. So just hold on with that. Scheduling is also. Yeah, Raghu, you're back.
Sorry, Kishore. I got logged out.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just trying to answer certain questions. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Sorry. I hope all of you understand. These are some of the perils of working at home. You have to depend on this, crazy Wi-Fi at times, various bandwidth problems, etc. Sorry about it. So now I think we were okay. I think that was one of the reasons why I was not able to run. Okay, let me share my screen again. Kishore, was that something that you wanted to continue before I start? You were answering.
No, I just answered certain things to them. So you can go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. So let me try with the same example that I was talking about. performance document. And if this doesn't pull up, I can show you a different example. As I said, the trend by year, the headcount trend by year, or the salary details by year, etc. So yeah, so quick. I think I had some bandwidth issue at that time. So this is how it appeared. So for example, as a HR, I would want to understand, how many performance documents were created by all my workers in each of the years. Okay, so this gives me that breakup. And now I also would be interested to see what are the various statuses that the performance documents were in each of those years. See, for example, some of them might have completed, some of them might have been still in progress, some of them are like various statuses, whatever you would have set it up. So what I'll do, I have the calendar year and performance documents. I'll also bring in this performance document status details, like the actual status of the performance document. Okay, or maybe I'll come to that later. What I would do, now I would want to create a trend report. Okay, so this is by year. These are the performance documents that are created. So now I'll create a graph, which is basically generally to see the trend. A line graph is best suited. This goes. This basically gives me, by year, this is how it was, steady it was. Maybe I can pull that up. Okay, so in between 2017, 18, 19, it was almost up to 20. The numbers were almost flat, not much of variation. But I see suddenly in 2021 it has jumped. More number of people either have recruited more people, or more number of people have created performance appraisal documents. It could be because of the change in policy in my organization, or it's because of the the voluntary involvement of workers to get into the performance appraisal cycle. I see a jump in my trend. Okay, so this is just one of the examples that I'm giving. You could also have similarly for, if you have to analyze the salaries in your organization, for example. So let me show that example as well. So I go to salary details, subject area, compensation salary details. So what happens here is I would rely on sort in saved order. The salary would be annualized full-time salary. I'm looking at the salary in totality by year, for example, across all business units, departments, countries, etc. What's the salary spend of my organization, for example, for the last 5 years? Okay, I can say 20. Yeah, so this one again, if I see it as a trend, it can give me a good picture of where do I stand. Again, from 17 to 18 there was an increase, from 18 to 19 there was a decrease, and 19 to 20 it remained almost flat, but in 2021 it zoomed up. Okay, so this gives me an idea as to how my salaries are being spent, or what salaries, the salary expenditure that I'm incurring in my organization by various years. Okay, so this is the trend report that I wanted to show. So wherever you have the time dimension available, you could build that trend reporting. And most of the subject areas in OTBI has the time dimension, so you could leverage that. And one last example that I wanted to show in this trending is we also have a headcount trend subject area. It's called workforce trend real time. Workforce trend real time subject area gives you the breakup of the headcount by year quarter, month. For example, I can show you, by, for example, I could, maybe I'll say month, and the workforce trend. What's the period start headcount? Period start headcount, period end headcount by various months, and I'll look at it only for the current year, for example. So I'll say filter, more columns. I'll say filter. I'll choose the time dimension as year, calendar year, and I could type in 2021, for example. Okay, now what I'm trying to do here is, by each month, I'm looking at what was the period start headcount and what is the period end headcount. So this gives me if anybody has joined, anybody has terminated, etc. So this gives the data accordingly. Okay. So by various months within the same year. So if you look at this one, in January, my period start headcount was 2568. It became 2570, indicating that there were 2 hires. So in February, it was 70, became 97, showing that there were 27 hires. And after that, they're pretty much, this first day of the month somebody joined, became 2598, and it has remained almost like last few months it has remained the same. Like from June onwards, my headcount has not changed. Okay, so this gives me a trend by month. Instead of month, if I want to see it by quarter, I could do that as well. All I need to do is I come here, instead of time, I just say calendar quarter, or I'll say just quarter. This will give me by Q1, Q2, Q3. Okay, so this gives me the data by quarter, the 4 quarters, and what is the data change. And finally, if I have to look at this data instead of quarter, if I want to look at this data by year, I could do that as well. For the last 5 years or maybe last 10 years, I could do that as well. Now I'm not applying any filters because it will give, with this, because it can give me data from many years before as well. From 1979, it is giving me the data. So if I'm a company that has been operating for the last 40 years, I can see that trend of how the headcount change happened over a period of years. Like I started off in 1979. What was the starting headcount, ending headcount each year, and finally where do I stand today? Of course, some of these things are future related records. We have records in the database with future years. That's why it is showing. But I could stop it here as of today's date. So as of now, my current day's headcount is 2647, for example. Okay, so this was one that I wanted to show. And one other example that I wanted to show was like about a simple calculated column. For example, you want to know. See, we have not seeded the worker's age as a column in the subject areas anywhere. So if you want to find out what is the age of each worker, there is a way to do that. Okay, I'll go to the assignment subject area, which has got all the worker data. So I'll pull up the person number, name, for example, or maybe I'll start with person number. And now, I don't have the age as a column anywhere. So what I'll do, I'll take the worker's date of birth. So it should be called person date of birth. So if you look at this one, this gives me, this is a very simple example that I'm taking. So it gives me all the date of birth of each worker. So how do I compute the age based on this date of birth? Okay, so all I need to do is I add one other column, any random column you could add, for example, and I'll apply a formula, simple formula. Okay, so what is the formula? I need to check, a common sense here would be current date minus the employee's date of birth should give me the age, right? So that's all I'm doing here. I've added another column. wherein I'll add this, and there are various functions available. Okay, and you need to choose the function relevant to this date column. So it's called minus, basically, I mean difference. So I have something called as timestamp diff. Okay, what each of the function does is all displayed here. You could go through them. I mean, based on each of your requirement, you could do that. So I'll say timestamp diff. Okay. So this is the formula that I'm doing. So this is a default. I mean, the example has this, you could find the difference in terms of year, in terms of days, or in terms of months. So I'm doing by year. So this is the, and I need to subtract the date of birth by current date. So I'm saying age. Okay. So now I just run the report. It should give me the ages of all the workers. All I've done is, I've used this date of birth and I've applied a function. I've just done a subtraction from the current date. It should give me that. Okay. Now, if suppose I would want to, okay, so of course, where we don't have data, it doesn't show up. And also, again, we could put a filter here. And one last thing that I wanted to show here was if I have to do conditional formatting. For example, I would want to show everybody who are 30 and below in a different color, 30 to 50 in one color, 50 and above in a different color, the employee age, based on that. So what I could do is I could say that I could go to edit formula of this one. Basically, I'll say binning, or maybe, sorry, I'll go to column properties. I'll say conditional format. I'll say add condition. If the age is less than or equal to 30, then the background color should be, say, for example, yellow. Okay, I'll add one more condition. Is between 31 and 50 in a different color. And everybody other than that should be in some other color. Okay. This is conditional formatting. As I said, I go to column properties of this age, column properties, and go to conditional format and add that condition. So now I should be able to see the workers in various, okay, based on their ages, the values are, the conditional formatting is applied. Okay. So I think, this was the agenda for today. Maybe I'll just take a quick look on if I've missed anything.
Maybe prompts is something that Mr. Raghu, just check here.
Analysis, bar graph, pie chart, filters, conditional for drill down. Okay, drill down analysis, right? So prompts was part of dashboard, and dashboard prompts was part of
okay,
session 2, Kishore. But I can show quickly about the report prompts.
No, because there was one question on search on the report, so I thought prompts can help you out there.
Sure, yeah. Okay, we could do that as well. See, let me take an example. I'm supposed to talk about 2 other examples here.
Any other subject area, Raghu, though if it's not in your plan, so people are interested and learn area, is there anything that you want to pick out from that and then show? Or you can go with your flow. I'm just hinting you.
So anything learning, if somebody is interested in learning, I could show them actually, right? Okay, learning management real time. Okay. So now, what do I need to do here? I need to have only those workers, for example, I would want to see all the learners by various business units, for example, okay, and their completion records, basically, okay. So what I'll do is probably instead of showing that, I'll just say all the learners and the corresponding courses that they have enrolled into, for example, right? So I say business unit, I'll pull up the person number or person name, person number and name. Okay. And all the courses that they're enrolled into, for example. Learning record number. And who assigned it, assigned on date, and who assigned it, for example. Or maybe instead of that, I'll say completion date, if at all they've completed it, and due date, when is it supposed to complete, and if they've completed it, what is the completion date? Okay. And the learning item type, basically. So this is a simple report that I'm building. So this gives me a list of workers that are enrolled into various learning activities. When I say learning activities, various learning items, and by business units. Now, this is a simple report that I'm building, a detailed report. Okay, so now this gives me what's the learning item that they've enrolled into. Of course, I've pulled in the learning record number, but type is specialization, course. I have these are the workers that are enrolled into. For example, this particular worker has got multiple learning records. And now what you want to do is you want to have a prompt, or maybe you won't want to see them as a report prompt to filter out only specific business units at a time. Okay, so how I do that, I'll edit this view, for example. And as always, you don't have to disable this display results. I'll still have it maybe this time. I'll pull this up. I'll make myself some room. I'll pull up this business unit name and put it as a table prompt. Okay. So all I'm doing is I'm dragging and dropping this into table prompts. Okay. And I'm saying done. Okay. Now, and I'll save this. Would want to save it in the same folder where I had. So now I have saved it. I'll go to catalog. I open it. By default, the business unit, this is the business unit, all the business records related to business unit is displayed. Now I want to see who are the ones are in, say, for example, Denmark, or maybe UAE business unit. So, okay. So this is one of the simplest reports that you could build. I could have a prompt based on the business unit. So think of this as not just business unit, it could be by managers as well. I could filter it by a specific manager in each of those business units. Okay, so how do I do that? I go here in the criteria, I add the learners manager, for example. Okay, so I put that also as one of the prompts above. Sorry, I don't know if that I pulled it correctly. Okay, now I pull the manager name, go here. Okay, so now I'll also put, along with a business unit, I'll also put the manager name as one of the prompt values. Okay, I'll say done. So now by now, but with this, like, and I'll save it. Okay, so I could filter it by manager. So this has, Australia's got only one, maybe. Okay, so I'm not getting enough data probably. So this is, of course, most of the places, I think they've got only one manager. So I could also have based on a manager, not just, a single prompt. I could have multiple prompts on the report. Okay. So yeah, so you could remove this business unit and have a filter only on the manager to understand which are the managers whose workers are enrolled into various learning, etc. You could filter it by, say, learning item type, subtype, and the actual learning record, etc. Okay. So I think,
Raghu, we are almost covered. I guess we have 5 more minutes. Let me quickly
I think,
take a look
yeah.
at
Q&A.
how to select multiple value in prompt. You can do multiple value, right? In this.
Yeah, of course. So not in the report prompt. This is just a table prompt.
Okay.
Table prompt, you cannot have multiple values. However, I could create. Let me show you this. Maybe for now, what I'll do, I'll remove both these from here. Okay, I'll create a. So what I'll do, I have saved this report now for now. And now I'll go and create a prompt on the business unit, for example. Okay. So this is the report prompt that I'm trying to create. So what I'm trying to create is like, I can, sorry, it's a column prompt. I go to the prompts tab. I say column prompt, business unit name. Okay. And I'll just give some custom name, choose business unit. And I'll say is equal to, that's a choice list. And I'll say include all column values is 1. I could say all column values. And you select multiple values. You enable user to select multiple values. Okay. So now, okay. So now I save this. And okay. So now I open this report. I could choose multiple business units here. Okay. So I could choose Australia. I could choose, say, for example, Denmark. Okay. So the moment I do that, it gives me only those business units pertaining to records pertaining to Australia and Denmark. Maybe we'll choose something which has got a smaller number. But the limitation of that, a report prompt is like, you could choose it once, and once you run, it goes away, and you need to reopen it to add another value. So instead of that, we generally recommend a dashboard and dashboard prompt. I'll cover it in the next session actually. So maybe we'll look at, or maybe I'll see. So these are the 2 business units that I'm looking at. Okay, so it gives me UAE and UK records. Okay.
Perfect, Raghu. We are almost 2 minutes.
We are on top of the hour
cover.
almost.
Yeah. So can you show us the session 2 coverage, what you're going to cover, if you have that agenda ready?
Yeah, I have it as a rough.
Yeah.
Maybe I can show you. You see my screen, right?
No, not yet. Still, yeah. I'm coming. Yeah, it's coming up.
You see my
Yeah,
notepad?
reporting. No. I'm just seeing the PowerPoint slide there, which is session 1 coverage.
Okay.
Okay, I see a lot of questions on different subject areas like absence, OTL, yeah, we can't cover everything. Yeah, I understand our interest. Maybe in the next session, in some of the example, we'll try to pick out the subject areas that you have asked in the question and answer session. We'll try to answer them. Please have a look at what we are going to cover in the session 2. Predominantly, it's going to be on the scheduling through agents, and then what else, Raghu, that you have planned for?
Let me tell you. Most of them are slightly advanced, I would say. So let me pull up that one. I need to stop sharing and reshare. Give me a second.
Please. Yeah. So once this session ends, there will be a survey question. So in which you will have the registration link for the next session on November 25th. Please take a note of it and then register for the session 2. It will be on November 25th. We hope we will see you all in that session as well. And if any questions which need a response, we will try to answer that and then keep you posted as well. Okay.
Okay.
So a minute, Raghu, it's it to come.
Yeah, I think I'll have to.
Maybe I can. I have those.
Yeah, I think I have it. Give me a second. I think I'm done. Okay, so this is the. Okay. Let me share. Okay, so this is what we had thought of in session 2.
Okay.
Schedule and analysis using agents, cross-subject area, derived columns, security. Security, when I say, I would cover, briefly what is a data role, what is a job role, duty role, kind of a thing. Of course, scheduling is I've already said. Formatted reports, subquery filters is one other. And embedding is not I don't think it's in scope now, but dashboard I'll elaborate on dashboards, how to create a dashboard prompt, create an analysis using a subquery filter, export, all those things. So most, because agents etc might take a longer time in explaining. I've the number of topic items are lesser, but each of them has I'll do a deep dive on each of these. Especially
maybe we should include the drill down which we just missed in this session. Maybe somewhere.
Drill down analysis as well. Yeah.
Okay, Raghu, it was wonderful having you on this session. Thanks for covering. I know it's a very vast subject. You made a good effort to cover all the nuances. I think it's just a starting point. People get to know about this. There are various other forums where you can dig further and get more knowledge. We'll try to do the best out of it in the session 2, covering some of the questions that you have, guys. Okay. Thank you very much. Please, when you shut down this meeting invite, you will get the survey and where you will have the registration link. Please do register. Okay. Thank you very much.
I just want to, Kishore,
Raghu, for this wonderful. Yeah, Raghu.
Just want to add one more thing. Of course, thanks all of you for listening to us. See, I encourage all of you to explore Customer Connect as much as possible, because the advantages of using Customer Connect is you have access to, as I said, more than about 400 analyses, pre-built analyses, which you could use, number one. Number two, the answers for any of your queries, big, small, medium, large, any questions that you have, simple, how to drag and drop a column, till advanced, how to schedule an agent, how to trigger a email, etc. You have all those questions covered in Customer Connect. So please engage yourself more and more on Customer Connect. Your queries will be answered faster on it. Okay. So just wanted to raise this point.
Raghu, before I close, just one more point. Not only easily you can build, based on my experience, I'm Arun Shankaran from COE team. Based on my experience, a couple of my strategic customers, they have saved money. I don't know whether how many partners are that, but customers, they themselves, they could build many reports and then they have published. So even the small reports and all, right, they have built on their own. So they can utilize this OTBI tool in a much better way.
Arun, you are bang on. This is exactly the point that I was thinking of actually. You're very right. Because so many cases that I've seen in some of those forums on workshops, etc. When I build a report, say for example, this phone number report or birthday report, they realize that it's so much easier to build using OTBI than taking the SQL route. They could it saves them from a lot of costs, giving to an SI basically. Yeah, bang on, Arun. You're right.
Thanks.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. We look forward for the November 25th session. Okay, stay tuned. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Raghu. Thanks, Raghu.
Thanks, everybody.